my channel. If you're new here, my name's Brittany and this is my son Lincoln. He's currently having a nap right now. He has just turned 8 weeks old. So yeah, it's been a while since I've sat down and kind of filmed one of these sit down videos, but it feels good again to be back in a new space. If you haven't noticed, we've actually just recently moved house 2 weeks ago. So Ryan and I bought our first home, which is really, really exciting. And yeah, we're just like settling in to, sorry, that's the dishwasher. We're settling into parenthood and yeah, moving house. It's all happening. But yeah, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my birth story. If you haven't already watched my birth vlog, I'll link it either here or here. And you can go check that out first or after. But basically there was a lot in my birth vlog that I couldn't film, and obviously I wasn't really documenting I couldn't document the whole thing on camera. So I just wanted to do a separate sit down video and kind of talk you through what happened, all the little details, and then I'll kind of touch on like my recovery afterwards and stuff like that. I am 8 weeks postpartum, so yeah. Alrighty, let's start. I have a lot of notes on my phone just to go off because honestly, now that I'm a mum, I don't know if this is a mum thing, but my brain has literally just gone to mush. Like, I normally have a good memory, but my short-term memory, I don't know, it's non-existent right now. So yeah, let me know if you're the same. So yeah, I've written everything down. So I'm just gonna kind of be looking at my phone to kind of prompt me to remember, because although it was like only 8 weeks ago, we've done so much in that time that it just literally, yeah, it feels like so long ago. So my birth story, I guess it kind of went over 3 days technically. So my waters broke Friday afternoon. So Friday the 16th of July, my waters broke. So pretty much like it was like 5:30 in the afternoon. I went to the toilet, and then as I got up, got off the toilet, started like walking out of the bathroom, and like this, like I felt this like water trickling down my leg, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. And I told Ryan, and Ryan was like, oh, like, are you sure you just didn't pee yourself? And I was like, no, I'm pretty sure this is like something else. Like, I'm pretty sure this could be my waters breaking. It was just weird. Like, we kind of weren't expecting it. Like, we were expecting him to come early, like I was anyway, but this, yeah, he was due 29th of July and this was the 16th of July. So 2 weeks early. So yeah, I was like, okay, that's weird. So I went back to the toilet and then I like wiped to like kind of see, like, you know, I just wiped. Anyway, and there was like a pink tinge to it, like light blood color. And so I was like, okay, this is definitely weird, because I'd never had any like blood or anything like bleeding through my pregnancy. So I was like, this is really weird. So I rang the birth suite. They basically just told me to put a pad in, maternity pad, and like wait an hour and then call them back. So yeah, you'll see my birth vlog, I'll probably put it up here. I did that and the pad pretty much filled up within 20-30 minutes. Then I had to change it again. Before this, like in the vlog, I didn't actually mention this, but after I hung up to them, maybe like 10 minutes later, I like was just like walking in our room, and all of a sudden I just felt this gushing feeling of like my waters breaking. And I just remember running to the toilet, and luckily I like made it to the toilet in time, I guess. And then like it all just like flushed down the toilet. I think, yeah, I kind of like, I'm like, I wish I didn't make the toilet, kind of just to see how much water there actually was, because it just felt like it just a massive rush of water. So yeah, I didn't mention that in my birth vlog, but that happened, and then I put the maternity pad in and they kept filling up. They've told me to put a pad in then and monitor it for an hour, like, so it's nearly been an hour. I've had to change my pad because I try not to like go over the first one filled up within the first half an hour. For you. But basically they just told me they needed to see me within I think it was 12 hours of my water breaking, so they had to see me before 5 a.m. the next day. And I kind of like, I didn't want to rush to the hospital because I was like, oh, it could be nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I wanted to see if my body was going to start like contracting. So I kind of like, I was like to them, can I just come like, you know, 1, 2 a.m. I ended up calling them back at like midnight and nothing had happened. During that time, you'll see in the vlog again, I had a bath. So I think I mentioned this in one of my other pregnancy videos, but I planned on using essential oils in my birth and my labor, and I did. The clary sage I bought because they say it helps like strengthen your contractions. So I was like rubbing that on my uterus, and I was like, I would literally like lather the bath in this clary sage oil. Like I pretty much used like a third of the bottle. And if you know essential oils, the clary sage is not cheap, but I was like, I don't care, come on, this baby's coming. Like I want to bring on these contractions. Did that, had a bath for like over an hour to maybe 2 hours. Nothing really happened. I had like mild period like cramping, but like it really wasn't painful. I was like, this isn't the real deal. So then we ended up going into the hospital at like 4 a.m. on Saturday morning. They checked me, they checked him on the monitor, and like everything looked normal. Basically she's like, what we do from here on out is like, we will book you an induction. She's like, it'll normally be the next day depending on the availability. She's like, you can choose to like push that back a day and kind of like see if your body will go into labor. She's like, but you know, otherwise we just book that in and you'll come in and get induced, unless obviously your body decides to go into natural labor, you know, tonight or before your induction time. So she's like, is that something like you want to do? And I was like, yep, let's just like, I was like, my waters are broken, like nothing's happened. I was like, if something happens tonight, that'll be awesome, because like it's kind of like, you know, it's spontaneous labor. But if not, I was like, I'm just gonna get induced, because like there's risks of infection and stuff if your waters break and the baby's in there for a long time. Stuff like, I didn't want him to do a poo in there and blah blah blah. So I was like, it's fine, yeah, let's just go with that. So she's like, okay, yeah, we have 7 a.m. Sunday morning available, come in then, we'll see you then. She gave me antibiotics, so I had to take some antibiotics to stop infection from happening. Saturday, like I said, I was like, oh, maybe I'll start feeling stuff, but in my head I kind of knew that it wasn't gonna happen. Like I just think after my waters broke and like all that night, nothing happened, and it wasn't even like increasing, I didn't have any contractions at all. I was like, nah, like this isn't happening, I'm gonna be induced. So I like kind of just accepted it. Like I was a bit disappointed, obviously, because I wanted to kind of like experience the spontaneous labor and like kind of work through the contractions at home as well. I think that would have been really good to be able to be at home for like part of my labor. But like I kind of just like, I was like, okay, it's fine, like it is what it is, he's coming. And I was kind of just like excited the fact that like we knew he was coming tomorrow. So yeah, Sunday morning we went into the hospital at 7 a.m. So they like to get you, they say for inductions, they like to get you in early at 7 so that you deliver the baby in daylight. Because they're like, yeah, roughly, like it depends on the person obviously, but inductions, like they say, you know, typically by 6 o'clock the baby's born. Not in my case. He was born at 8:57, so 7 a.m. we got to the hospital. So first thing, like they kind of checked me in, showed us to our birth suite. We were kind of just hanging around for a little bit. Midwife introduced herself. They put all the little tags on me. Then the first thing they need to do is hook you up to the, I think, is it oxytocin? I'm not too sure of the names. The hormone drip, and an IV drip, I think, as well. So they need to hook you up. So they need to put cannulas in your hand or your arm. And that was, just that was seriously that was painful. The stuff leading up to my contractions was honestly nearly as painful as the actual birthing contractions. She tried to put it in my left arm. The midwife tried to put cannulas in my left arm twice, and my veins, like, she's like, they collapsed. And someone else, or she tried to come in, she did it on the right hand, she did, but she got another midwife to come and have a look with her at my veins, and she finally got it in to this arm. But honestly, just them stuffing around, sticking needles in me, spinning them around, sticking them out, changing arms, that took honestly like an hour and a half. So that was just like stuffing around, which is really
quite a long time to do anything.
Just to do anything, actually.
So I've got the drip in now.
Okay, so then they wanted to do an internal examination. So if you've had one of these, I'm sure you know they're not the most fun experience you'll ever have. For me, because I hadn't even dilated yet, it was honestly, I would say it was more painful than some of my contractions. Like, it was awful. So this midwife, she tried to like get her fingers in there to like feel around in my cervix and feel him. And she was like, she basically just said to me, oh, my fingers aren't long enough, I can't reach your cervix, so I'm gonna go look for another doctor or midwife who has longer fingers. So after she was prodding around in there for like 5 minutes, and she's like, nah, I can't get it. So then she like went to find someone else who could do it. Then she went and got the doctor, one of the doctors. The doctor came in, and he's like, okay, put your legs up in like the stirrups. Basically he put his fingers in there trying to see, they were basically trying to see whether or not the waters and the membranes around Lincoln's head had completely like broken. Because sometimes if your waters haven't completely broken, and they put the hormone drip in, it won't, like, because there's like membrane around the head and stuff, it won't work. The oxytocin drip won't work. So they're like, we need to make sure everything's cleared around his head so like the drip works and like you start contracting. So he came in and he did that, and I think I tried the gas. This time the midwife was like, do you want to try the gas? Because honestly, I was so tense, it was so uncomfortable and so painful. She's like, try the gas and see if like it will help you relax while we do the internal examination. So I tried the gas, and oh my God, it was so much better. Like, I could actually relax. So that helped. And this doctor was kind of like, I'm pretty sure like I'm pretty sure it's all clear. Let's just go ahead and put the hormone drip in and see if things start moving. If not, like, we'll have to come back and check again. So yeah, they put the hormone drip in, and this was about 9:30. So yeah, 2.5 hours after I got there, at 9:30, I finally got the hormone drip in. Nothing happened. So we waited for maybe an hour, just over an hour, and she's like, are you feeling anything? Are you feeling any tightenings? And I was like, not really. I was like kind of like, I was like kind of hoping, or like trying to force myself to feel something. I was like, maybe a little bit of a tightening, but really not really. Then so at around 11 o'clock, so after about an hour and a half, they realized that, sorry, that's my dishwasher. We'll wait for that. Okay, so yeah, after about an hour and a half, I think they realized that it's not working. There's probably still membranes around his head. Then an older midwife or nurse came in, and she was awesome. She like got in there. So this is my 3rd examination, mind you. I got on the gas again because I was like, that worked last time, and like I need to be able to fully relax for them to like get in there. So she got in there, and she's like, I've pulled your cervix. It was all the way at the back. She's like, I've pulled it all the way forward with her hands, fingers. I don't know how the hell they do that, but anyway. And she's like, I could actually feel baby's head. He was like moving, like when she was like putting her fingers there, he was like moving against her fingers. One of the midwives handed her like this like hook tool thing, and she like pricked kind of the skin or the sac around his head. She's like, I'm pretty sure I've got all of it. So yeah, hopefully you don't have to have one of these examinations again. I was like, yay, okay, let's get things moving. So at around 11:30, my labor, I feel like my labor finally started. I started like having mild contractions, so half an hour after she did that. They were pretty much just like lower cramps in my pelvis, which is like kind of like similar to period cramps, I'd say. Then like my labor plan, so I didn't really have a strict labor plan. I just kind of wanted to be as mobile as possible, and I wanted to use my essential oils and play music and kind of just like set the mood and like just be relaxed. So I didn't want to lie in the bed. I wanted to like be on the exercise ball or just like kind of like walking around the room and stuff, which is really hard because I was on the hormone drip. They have to monitor you closely. So I had a CTG machine on my belly monitor, and then I had like the drips connected to me, the 2 drips on this arm. So I'd like carry that around, and every time you kind of like move with the CTG machine, it like falls off like the spot. They're like really sensitive, so like they can't monitor his heartbeat if it falls off. Which kept happening a lot because I was kind of like wanting to be bouncing on the ball, and I wanted to be kind of like moving around, which kind of was really annoying. And I was like, oh, like, is this gonna like, will I have to labor like lying down, because like I really didn't want that. The midwife then came in, and like she could tell that I didn't want to be in the bed, and she kind of said, okay, next time like you get checked, we're gonna put a clip on baby's head, so you don't have to wear the CTG machine on your belly. So it pretty much you can just like move around freely. You'll just have like this wire coming out of you. Yeah. I was like, okay, cool. So that other midwife actually did that when she broke the rest of the waters. And that was a lot better because I could kind of like sit on the ball. You'll see in my video, I was like bouncing around a lot, and just kind of like swaying on the ball, which I feel like really helped me during my labor. And I feel like it helped. Yeah, it just helped. I'm just that type of person. I hate sitting still. I hate sitting down. So yeah, I was glad that I could be as mobile as I could be. Oh, my battery's gonna die, hang on. So yeah, that was pretty much, yeah, that was good. Once that was in, I felt like everything kind of actually started to move along, and I was pretty much just like laboring. So 1 o'clock, mum came to the hospital, and she brought us Macca's, which I didn't film, but I had like a double cheeseburger meal for lunch. I was like to the lady, can I eat during labor? And she's like, yeah. And I was like, great. Because like for some reason I read somewhere that you couldn't eat during labor. Anyway, about 2:30, that's when the contractions really started increasing. In my birth vlog video, you'll see that I was really like struggling, and kind of like I was using Ryan a lot and kind of like leaning on him and like swaying with him. He was great. Like honestly, I don't know if I would have got through it as well as I did without him. And he was literally just like making me laugh the whole time. Like just like moaning and stuff, like kind of like mimicking what I was doing. And then like there was moments where I'd be like in a contraction, and I remember this one thing that he said. He came up to me and he was like, it's your shout for parking. I like in the middle of the contraction, and I was just like just trying to get through this contraction, and then like it eased off, and I was like laughing. And then the next contraction, he was like whispered in my ear, he's like, you can transfer me tonight. And honestly, like stuff like that, I was just like, I think that's what got me through, just like laughing and just being really like lighthearted, and just like, yeah, he was honestly amazing. Okay, so then fast forward to about 5 o'clock. So yeah, like I said, I just literally just kept laboring on the ball and on my feet pretty much until 5 o'clock. And then 5 o'clock, mum's like, do you want to like lie down? You look really tired. She's like, maybe have a lie down now. So I got onto the bed, and that's when the contractions were, they were just really painful at this stage. And like, that's when I needed the gas to get through them. So up until around like 5 o'clock, I kind of wasn't really using the gas. Yeah, when I was on the ball, I wasn't really using the gas. It wasn't until I got into the bed at like say 5 o'clock that I was using the gas and like I needed it through every contraction. And then like I was just so exhausted. You like see in the video, I'm just like lying there like literally half asleep, just like sucking on the gas. And then 5:30 they got like more and more painful. They were literally getting so painful, and Ryan was kind of like, if you need the epidural, get the epidural. Because I kind of said to myself, like, I was like trying to be tough, and I was like, oh, you know, I can do it without an epidural. Mum gave birth to me and my brother without an epidural, and I was like, I'll be fine. Like, if mum can do it, I can do it. Typical me. And then yeah, it got to 5:30 and I was just exhausted, and I was like, it's really getting really bad. Like, I think I need it. Boy, are you sleepy? You're waking up from your nap. He's decided to join us for the video. That's nice of you, isn't it? You gonna keep sleeping? So yeah, I was like to the midwife, I think I want the epidural. And then she was kind of like to me, she was like, do you want me to check you first to see like how far you are? And then I was like, yeah, check me, because like if I'm close to 10, I won't need it. Like, I'll just push through it. So she checked me and I was 7 centimeters. And then I kind of said to her, I was like, how long do you reckon until I get to 10 centimeters? And she was like, well, roughly like it takes, you know, like about half an hour per centimeter. So in my head, I was kind of like, you know, like an hour and a half to 2 hours. And then kind of like with everything that had gone on earlier, I was kind of like, it's probably going to take longer. And then like pushing on top of that, I was kind of like, I don't want to go another like 2 to 3 hours of this. Like, I want the epidural. So they organised the epidural. They organised the anaesthetist to come up, which you see in the video. She comes up and she's like explaining to me how the epidural works. I'm literally like so out of it at this point. Mum was like actually telling me that I was so funny at that point. I was like, like obviously I had the cannulas on one arm, and then I was like wrapped or curled around the side of like the hospital bed, and like with the gas in my mouth, and I like hooked up to all these like drips and stuff, and I was like just like in pain, like just like swinging myself around. Mum's like, I thought you were gonna rip the cannulas out of your arms. And then, oh yeah, I forgot to mention, so in this time, like when I said, yep, I want the epidural, then she checked me, she's like, you're 7 centimeters, blah, blah, blah. Then they organised, the time that they took organising the anaesthetist to come up, that was about half an hour. And then in that time, I had this intense, like, I didn't realise it was the urge to push, but it literally just felt like I needed to shit myself. I kid you not. It was just like this feeling, and I was like, I just remember screaming to the midwives and like to Mum and Ryan, I was like, I'm gonna shit myself, I'm gonna shit myself. And like, I was just screaming it for ages. And then Mum was like, oh, I think she might need to go to the toilet. And the midwife's like, oh no, that's baby's head. So she checked me again. And as she checked me, the anaesthetist was there and like ready to give me the epidural. And the midwife would check me and she was like, oh, yep, we won't be needing you. She's 10 centimeters dilated. So in that half an hour, I dilated. It was actually like less than half an hour. I dilated from a 7 to a 10. And it was too late for the epidural. So then it was time for me to push. That was fun. Honestly, the pushing for me didn't hurt as much as the contractions in that last couple of hours did. Because it's literally just like pressure there. And you kind of just have to like push and breathe into the pressure. But being a first time mum, I didn't know what I was doing. And like the midwife there, to be honest, wasn't really telling me how to push or like giving me much guidance. I don't know if maybe she hadn't had kids herself because she was quite young. But I feel like if I had some guidance, maybe I wouldn't have been pushing for so long. Basically, I pushed for 2.5, probably more than 2.5 hours. And every time like Mum's like, you'd see the baby's head come out and then it just sucked back in again. So it's like the constant, like, I just wasn't really getting anywhere. So it's like at this point I was exhausted and like pushing and not getting anywhere. It's just like, it's so deflating. So then at the 1 hour mark, the doctor came in and he was kind of like, look, we don't like people to be pushing for more than 2 hours. He's like, at this point, there's no signs to say that, like, you know, you can't push this baby out or deliver this baby. I think you're gonna be okay, and you won't need help. But yeah, I'll come and check back at the 2 hour mark. He left. I kept pushing, same thing. The midwife kind of encouraged me to like try a few different positions. So I like had the one where I was just like had my legs up in stirrups on my back. Then I tried kind of like, say the bed was like here. I was like facing the bed, like kind of like standing up on the bed, or like on my knees, like leaning over the bed head, pushing like that, on my side. And like, it really like, to me it was all the same. It didn't really like do anything. Then Ryan could see I was really struggling, and Ryan was like getting a bit scared, and he was like, oh, to the midwife, what happens at the 1 hour mark? And they were like, oh, well, the 2 hour mark, sorry. I need to, you know, use like forceps or vacuum to help, you know, get him out. Hello, you're awake now, aren't you? So as soon as they said that, I was kind of like, nah, like I do not want them using any like forceps or vacuum or anything. Like, I'm gonna get this baby out. I was kind of like, it gave me kind of like the motivation to just like push as hard as I could. And then once I started like pushing, I could actually feel after that my pushes were better. And then the midwife actually said, do you want me to try putting my fingers in there and like pushing down, so you kind of like know where to put the pressure, like where to push to? And I was like, yeah. So I did that, and that honestly helped me to like kind of put more pressure, I guess. So I did that for a bit. Then the lady, the doctor came in at the 2 hour mark. He's like, look, like I think like we're just gonna let you keep going, because like I think you're gonna get this baby out soon. Like we think you'll be fine. So they let me keep going. And then an older midwife came in, an older lady, and she really helped me with the pushing. She was like, you're not bearing down enough. Like, she's like, grab your legs and really like bend over, and she's like, and push. And once she told me to do that, honestly, my pushes were so much better. Mum was saying like, you were pushing so much better after she came in. So I think that really helps, like depending on who's on and what midwife you have, it really helps, because I think if I had this older lady from the start, I wouldn't have been pushing for so long, because she would have corrected me from the start, kind of thing. As his head started coming out more, I could feel myself tearing. So it was like a burning, stinging feeling. And they had like, the midwife had like a warm compress like on my perineal to kind of like, I think they do that to like prevent tearing. And it kind of helped with the pain, but I mean, it was still really burning and stinging. And then at 8:57, he was born. So yeah, that's pretty much what happened. He came straight onto my chest. And I had like that golden hour, they call it the golden hour, which is like the first hour after they're born, with skin on skin. The midwife helped me to breastfeed him for the first time, and then she helped me express colostrum, which was good. And then they had to examine the damage. Like, let's just be honest, they had to examine the damage, and they were like, oh, you know, we need to get the doctor to see if we can repair the stitches here for you, or if you need to go down to surgery. So I actually had a 3B tear, so a 3rd degree tear. And 3rd degree tears are like, so they're in categories, so you can either have a 3A, 3B or 3C tear. So basically, yeah, I had a 3B tear, which is pretty good tear, not bad, which needed surgery. So I'm pretty sure if you have a 1st or 2nd degree tear, the nurses or the doctors just do it in the room for you. But because I had a 3rd degree tear, they had to take me down to theatre and operate on me. and that took 2 hours. So yeah, at this point it was like, by the time I'd finished the skin on skin and like they actually like explained everything to me about the surgery and took me down, I didn't get to theatre till around 10:30, quarter to 11, and then it took maybe just under 2 hours for them to like, you know, run me through everything, do the procedure, like the recovery bit, and then take me back up. So yeah, I got back to the room at maybe like 12:30-ish or 1 o'clock. And Ryan had been in the room in our birth suite with Lincoln, just like minding him while I was in surgery. And then, yeah, like they moved me to the ward, and originally they were like, oh, Ryan can stay, because like, obviously I gave birth quite late, and the visiting hours were over. They were kind of like, oh, he can just stay. But then after I got out of surgery, they were like, oh, sorry, like he actually can't stay, because we were in lockdown and still are in lockdown. So he had to go home, which kind of sucked. And I spent 2 nights in the hospital with him. That's my birth story. I feel like I've been talking for so long. I try to make these videos short, but like I just can't stop talking. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please, like I said, give it a thumbs up, subscribe. It really supports my channel. If you have any other video suggestions that you want, please leave a comment below. I love like filming your suggested videos. And yeah, I guess I'll just see you in my next video. Bye.